Welcome everybody to the Atto Fridays. It's a pleasure to see so many people here today. I imagine everybody is a bit tired from the end of the term. We are really happy to have today also a very distinguished speaker, Professor Katalin Varjú. She is the science director of ELI-ALPS, and she's also responsible for the implementation and operation of the facility and has been engaged with the ELI program since 2008. Katalin also holds an associate professorship at the University of Szeged, and her main interests are in optical atomic physics and attosecond science. So today we're going to have an extreme talk. I tend to say that our field is very extreme. And if you invite the director of ELI, you hope that it's going to be an extreme talk. So we're very happy to have her here, and she'll talk about attosecond science at ELI scale. So very extreme. So thank you so much for accepting the invitation, and we are ready to start.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It was a pleasure, and I hope that you will find my talk informative and interesting. If I say that there were highlights in 2023 in attosecond science, the obvious idea that comes to mind is, of course, the Nobel Prize that was given in our field. And ELI-ALPS is really proud of our connections to the Nobel laureates, and Lullier and also Ferenc Krauss has been very active during the implementation phase of the ELI project. And they are coming to the labs and they are proposing experiments as well. But there has been another very important event also for ELI-ALPS last year. And this was the inauguration of the whole project. ELI-ALPS implementation phase has been concluded, and we are opening our gates to the scientific community. ELI-ALPS is part of the Extreme Light Infrastructure European Research Infrastructure Consortium, ELI-ARIC. So we are one facility that ELI-ARIC is responsible for. ELI is a distributed research infrastructure. There are 3 ELI institutes, one in Hungary in Szeged, where I'm talking from. There is one close to Prague in the Czech Republic, and there is an institute in Magurele close to Bucharest in Romania. These are the 3 ELI facilities. Our facility is called the Attosecond Light Pulse Source, and we are, as I said, situated in Szeged, Hungary. ELI-ARIC is taking care of the operation and running of the facilities. They are providing the access to international researchers to all these facilities. So in Szeged, ELI-ALPS is housed in a brand new building. The construction started in 2014. The building was inaugurated in 2017, and since then research technology has been installed in the laboratories. The building was specifically designed and built for this research infrastructure. If you go inside the laboratories, what you are going to see is a lot of optical, vacuum and electronic stuff, what you would expect from such an institute. We have 11 laser systems, we have 11 secondary sources, and we have more than 15 experimental stations and target areas. But the whole institute wouldn't be complete without all the dedicated researchers who work in our laboratories. They are performing both internal research and they are also supporting the user projects. So if you have anything that falls into these categories, if you would like to become our user, at the end of the talk, I'll give you some information about how to become a user. Please get in touch. We also have open positions in different fields and at different levels of careers. We will be very happy to hear from you. So the ELI-ALPS facility, the research technology building, is illustrated on the right part of this slide. And in summary, I would like to say that we are interested in many branches of science. The main interest for the current talk is, of course, attosecond light source developments and measurement techniques, as well as high peak power photonics. So I'm going to introduce you all the research technology that we have that you can apply for as users. And in the meantime, I'm going to put in some illustrations of science that we are doing here. Basically, I was already hinting about it, that ELI is a user facility. So there is user access based on excellence, and we offer to the users a portfolio of research opportunities. We have built out capacity, capability, and we hope uniqueness during the implementation of this project. We have lasers. These lasers are ultra short down to the few cycle regime, producing pulses. We drive secondary sources with these lasers, and we have dedicated end stations for the experiments. To be able to understand what's going on in the experiments, we also have a variety of simulation tools, and of course, different methodologies for the experiments are also available. A quick overview of all the different laser systems that we have. What you see here in green, these are fully operational, they are user ready, and the ones indicated in blue are still in development or in commissioning phase. You can see that there is a wide variety of pulsed lasers that people can select from. The repetition rate varies between single shot, 10 Hz, up to 100 kilohertz. The central wavelength of the lasers is mainly in the near-infrared regime, but we have mid-infrared lasers as well. And the pulse energy, of course, related to the repetition rate varies from the 100 microjoule level up to the joule level. We have been developing laser systems that are to the shortest pulse duration, down to the few cycle regime, and wherever possible, CEP stability was also a requirement on the laser systems. In terms of secondary sources, all these lasers have target areas, and we use them in production of secondary sources. A very important branch is when we use the lasers to produce XUV or X-ray attosecond pulses. We use 1, 2, 3 different lasers in different beamlines for producing the attosecond pulses. As another area, we also produce long wavelength radiation terahertz pulses. So we have terahertz facilities as well. And not the major aspect of ELI-ALPS' applications, but we have electron acceleration beamlines as well. For the experimental stations, we range from gas phase target areas like reaction microscope, VMI, or magnetic bottle electron spectrometer, to condensed matter physics like nano-ESCA or different nanoscience, surface science equipment. But there are also other and stations, experimental stations, that is available. So coming back to the building, how it all looks like. So we have a building, which is a square building, which is 80 meter by 80 meter in size. And we have an auxiliary building with some smaller laboratories. The big building, the 80 meter by 80 meter building, is vibration isolated to keep these large instruments stable relative from one end to the other. and the smaller labs are not vibration isolated, but they only host small-scale equipment. The lasers, most of the lasers are situated in this part of the building that I'm circling with my pointer. They are not radiation shielded areas, but we also have radiation shielded target areas. For the petawatt laser, we have a high shielded target area with 2 meter thick concrete walls. For the Silos laser, we have a shielded target area which has 1 meter thick walls for radiation protection. And we also have unshielded target areas for like attosecond pulse production in the gas phase. For many of the lasers, that's sufficient. And we have some auxiliary facilities as well that I will introduce on the fly. So I would like to introduce to you all the different instrumentation that we have, and I'm going to group them based on the driver laser that they are using. So the mid-IR activity, this actually means 2 laser systems that we have. We have a mid-IR laser with 3.2 micrometer central wavelengths, which operates at 100 kilohertz. And the laser produces either 40 femtosecond pulses, 150 microjoules, or after post-compression in different bulks, we can reach down to 20 femtosecond, 70 microjoule pulses. This system is available for the users as well as for our internal research. Mostly, this is being used to generate high harmonics in semiconductors, in bulk materials, but we are also commissioning a VMI spectrometer and liquid jet as target area for this laser. We also have a higher pulse energy, lower rep rate mid-IR laser. This is to operate at 1 kilohertz, and the target specifications is 15 millijoule, 40 femtosecond. This system is not fully developed yet, so currently we are at 140 femtosecond pulse duration and almost 11 millijoule pulse energy, but this is in development. The main application of this laser will be to drive high harmonic generation. We want to produce attosecond pulses in the water window or in the kiloelectron volt regime. So this is still in development. As I have mentioned, for the mid-IR 100 kilohertz laser, this is already in user applications. It has been offered to users since 2019 as part of our commissioning activities. And there has been, luckily, many papers that emerged from all these commissioning user campaigns. Mostly this is taking advantage of the high wavelengths, the high UP. Just a second. The next group of activity I'm going to overview is what we call the HR, or high repetition rate activity. This contains 2 main laser systems, HR1 and HR2, and there is a small scale system to align the experiments. This also has target areas here in the unshielded target area that houses 2 attosecond beamlines. The lasers, one of the lasers is fully commissioned. It operates at 100 kilohertz, providing less than 7 femtosecond pulses of 1 millijoule pulse energy. CEP locking has been demonstrated. The full CEP stability is an ongoing effort. There is an upgraded version of this laser, which is an independent system that we have classified for 5 millijoule pulse energies. It is in development. We are not with the full specifications yet, but we hope that by the end of the year, we can also offer this this upscaled laser to the user community. As I said, these lasers drive two attosecond beamlines. These attosecond beamlines are situated next door. These beamlines have been designed by colleagues in CNR IFN, and they are fully commissioned. They are set up for XUV-IR cross-correlation pump probe studies, and there are two beamlines. One is for gaseous targets, and the other one is for condensed targets. We have temporal, spectral, and spatial characterization of the XUV pulses, and these can be, to some extent, reconfigured based on the requirement from a laser. There is a very specially designed and cooled static high harmonic generation cell, because at 100 kilohertz, the average power is considerable, and the target cell has to be cooled. We use the rabbit technique for characterizing the attosecond pulses, and we have in the user offer about 160 attosecond pulses. We generate approximately 250 picojoules, but by the time it reaches on target, it's 50 picojoule in target, which is quite nice at 100 kilohertz repetition rate. There is an end station set up for this beamline, which is a reaction microscope that can record in coincidence kinematically complete data about ion and electron fragments. Some results that have been achieved with this beamline is mainly on the high harmonic generation research. We have designed tunability based on varying placement of the double pulses, and we have observed quantum pulse interferences with chirped laser pulses in this beamline. The twin beamline next door, which is set up for condensed matter physics with another end station, also has an XUV monochromator installed. This monochromator can optionally operate in a time-compensated mode, so we can have really short XUV pulses. What we have achieved is at 40 eV generating a decent flux of XUV radiation in a very short duration, transform-limited, almost transform-limited pulse duration. These beamlines are available for the user campaigns, and there has been multiple projects where they exploited the high repetition rate of the system using XUV and IR pulses in pump probe schemes. As I mentioned, we have an end station for condensed matter physics, which is a nano-ESCA station. So this is photoemission electron microscope that can resolve the spatial distribution of the electrons that are emitted from the surface via the XUV irradiation. It can also resolve the energy and it can image the momentum space of the electrons, which is emitted from the sample. This system is also equipped with an imaging spin filter. So we can distinguish between spin up and spin down electrons from the emission. It has been a great challenge to do time-resolved measurements with such a systems, and I can report that we have achieved this. This was just a proof of principle experiment. You see here momentum space of the XUV probed photoelectrons as a function of time after the near-infrared excitation. And we can see how this excited state actually decays while time evolves. There are many user projects with the nano-ESCA. Some uses static measurements, like the one on the left, where we have studied static electronic structure in a sample that had gold layer underneath hexagonal boron nitride layer. And we have seen how the local work function has been modified. And on the right, you can see a time-resolved measurement of the evolution, the band structure evolution in a ferromagnetic-paramagnetic phase transition that is enabled by this very unique XUV-IR pump probe scheme that we have at the as the illumination of this end station. We also have smaller experimental setups for the laser systems, like, for example, this transient absorption setup that is using just a sampled beam of this 100 kilohertz wrap rate laser. So this is % of the pulse energy that goes into doing femtochemistry with the lasers. There are many users. This in itself wouldn't be the flagship of ELI as such, as this instrument only uses just a commercially available parameters. But for many users, access to such systems is still very unique and very interesting. So we have seen projects, some electrochemical effects, or looking at quantum dots and the effect of illumination on them. The next group of lasers and related systems I am going to review is what we call Silos laser group. This Silos system, these lasers have been developed by Lithuanian companies, Light Conversion and Expla. The two big laser systems operate at a kilohertz repetition rate. They are few cycle pulses, and they have 35 or 120 millijoules in the two systems. These two lasers have multiple target areas. There are in total 5 different target areas operational right now. So we have 2 alignment lasers that mimic the peak powers that we achieve with these lasers, but they are much lower in repetition rate, in 10 hertz or 50 hertz. But it's very important to have these lasers for the ramping up of the experiments towards the higher repetition rate. The most recent addition to this group was the Silos 3 laser, which is now producing 120 millijoule. And what is a very important feature for all our lasers is the stability in time, how they are operating. There is some research, in-house research here, that goes towards shortening the pulses as much as possible. And we have done post-compression studies with the kilohertz Silos laser and also with the alignment laser at 10 hertz. And we have reached about 1.4, 1.5 optical cycle pulse durations above 10 millijoule energies at the 2 different repetition rates. This is right now only available as a research platform, but we are working on setting up this post-compression at the entrance of the Attosecond beamlines, so we can also drive the Attosecond beamlines with these post-compressed pulses. The beamlines, the target areas that I have mentioned for these Silos class lasers are 2 Attosecond beamlines that I'll give you more information about in a minute. In the medium shielded target area, there are some high intensity interactions for electron acceleration and surface plasma high harmonic generation, as well as there is some ion and neutron generation setups also operating. The Silos-driven gas high harmonic generation beamlines, we have 2 systems that are operational. One is called the long beamline. This is called long because the whole length of this attosecond beamline is 50 meters long. And the other one is called compact because it fits within one laboratory. This is a little bit folded geometry. They are both online. They both have very nice diagnostics. You can see this rabbit trace was recorded yesterday in a user campaign. But this is now becoming routinely available at these beamlines. What we are still developing is online diagnostics, circularly polarized harmonics, and of course, improving the stability of the XUV sources for the applications. And right now, these two beamlines are driven by the 35 millijoule kilohertz laser and the 10 hertz alignment laser, but we are building a beam transport for Silo 3 to be able to actually exploit the long beamline that has been designed. The long beamline has been designed by colleagues at Lund University, and the idea is to have very long gas target for the generation. The length can go up to 6 meters, very low pressure, very long cell, and very loose focusing. For the focusing in this beamline, we are using a deformable mirror, and we can go up to the focal length 50-55 meters. Right now, as I said, that this system is only driven by a 35 millijoule laser. So right now, the experiments that we are using a shorter cell. The length can be varied between 2.5 centimeter to 72 centimeters. And we don't take the whole beamline, but there is a retroreflector halfway in the beamline. But what we have seen is that there is a nice harmonic structure. We can induce some spatial distortions of the harmonics. We have the rabbit technique, as I have mentioned, and there has been already research and papers appearing based on research done in this beamline. You probably have heard about the results from the Lund group, the two-phase matching regimes in high-order harmonic generation. The experiments were partially performed here at ELI-ALPS. Next room, the other Attosecond beamline is designed by the Fourth Institute, by colleagues at Fourth Institute. And as I said, this is a folded beamline, and the focal length can be varied 3, 6, and 10 meter lengths. So this is considered long focusing, but compared to the long beamline, this is not that long. It's just medium long focusing. The phase matching regime, which has been selected for this beamline, is somewhat different. In this beamline, we use high pressure, high density gas jets in the generation. So this would correspond to high density and short targets, gas targets in attosecond pulse generation. And there are actually four gas jets. The relative position can be scanned, meaning that we can exploit quasi-phase matching to increase the flux. For these two beamlines, the main advantage is the very high pulse energy of the laser. So we would like to exploit this high laser pulse energy to produce really high flux XUV pulses. And with this compact beamline, we have already demonstrated a nonlinear XUV process. The generation of the double ionization of neon has been achieved, and we are planning further experiments like attosecond electron-electron correlation in helium, two-photon double ionization is is what we are developing in collaboration with our colleagues at the University of Freiburg, Giuseppe Sanzone. The Silos laser drives also other beamlines, as I have mentioned. One of them is a surface plasma high harmonic generation beamline. This project we are doing in collaboration with Ardop Industries and Eloa in Paris. Right now, this system is completely installed. We have vacuum metrology also installed. And this week, we are starting a user campaign for commissioning experiments. We have actually a possibility to use a solid target for the plasma generation as well as a liquid target. So this is something that we hope that will also become a technique after some development that will be able to produce custom attosecond pulses. Silos laser also drives an electron acceleration beamline that I have already mentioned, being set up in the medium shielded target area. This beamline has been commissioned at 10 Hertz so far. We have seen 50 MeV electrons tailing up to 80 MeV and at plasma densities of about 10 to the 19 per cubic centimeters. What we are still working on, ramping up this system to the kilohertz operation rate, and the application areas, the end stations are in development for time-resolved X-ray absorption spectroscopy and crystallography, and also biological sample irradiation to test the effect of pulsed particle beams. I've mentioned that there are some femtochemistry experiments with the HR laser. Here we also have a sampled beam of the main laser to be used for photodissociation experiments in the gas phase. Here you can see an example of snapshots of an exploding molecule, butane molecule, how it happens on the femtosecond time scale. The highest pulse energies that we have are with the petawatt laser. The high field petawatt laser has been developed by Amplitude. It's situated in the largest laser room, and it shoots to the neighboring high shielded target area. The current status of the laser is that it has been commissioned with 10 joules, operating at 10 Hertz, pulse duration 20 femtoseconds. So you can see that it's petawatt class. We haven't yet reached petawatt powers. And we have asked the developer to reconfigure the laser to 2.5 Hertz. So this is how we right now operate this system. We have the 2.5 Hertz, almost half a petawatt pulses that go into the target area. This is half a petawatt, so this is the pulse energy after the compression. In the target area, we have 3 target stations that I'll show you in a little bit, which is being developed and commissions currently. So the laser beam comes in through the wall into this shielded target area. This is the compressor of the petawatt laser, and then the beam comes towards the beam tailoring possibilities. In the first chamber, we have a plasma mirror for contrast improvement, and we have deformable mirror to correct for the beam irregularities. And the first target area of this laser, as it goes along the beam transport, is the surface plasma interaction. We have a second station that we call UFO, ultrafast optics. And in the background, it's less visible on this photo, but we have the electron acceleration beamline in the back. Some closer look at all the instrumentation. This surface plasma high harmonic generation by the high field petawatt laser, short acronym for a long name. This is where we can study the petawatt solid target interactions. We had the first few shots on this with this instrument. We had on target 4 joules. At that time, we have used single shot operation illumination with this laser using a fast shutter. And at that time, the pulse duration was 23.5 femtosecond. It was a great challenge for this laser, that everything had to be remote controlled because of all the radiation that are being produced and the particles being produced in this instrument. So everything is remote controlled, and we have online diagnostics for the whole instrument. The next target area moving along the beam transport is the ultrafast optics interaction station. This is just developed to house user projects. There are multiple targets that can be installed in this system. So we have the focusing conditions and the holder for the different types of targets. It could be foil targets or gas target, or even a liquid film target can be installed in this system. There are variable diagnostics, and there is a very huge list for application areas. We are also planning to develop this for multi-beam configuration, this system, to be able to do relativistic transient absorption and to study time-resolved effects in warm dense matter physics or high energy density physics. And the third beamline in this laboratory is the petawatt, electron petawatt beamline, which is installed and waiting for beam time, ready to shoot. Here we are expecting giga-electron volts of electrons, hopefully being ideal for microtomography studies. So these were the big laser systems that we have commissioned. And I also mentioned that we have the long wavelength radiation range as well, the terahertz activity. We have 2 systems for terahertz studies. The small system operates at a kilohertz repetition rate, and the high energy version operates at 50 hertz. For the kilohertz operational system, we have a pump probe scheme, which is quite versatile. We have terahertz pump, terahertz probe, as well as we have additional probe beams with white light generation and generating harmonics. We can study here charge carrier dynamics in different materials, or even in metasurfaces, some terahertz-driven dynamics. For the high energy terahertz source, this system has been designed to create millijoule level terahertz pulses. The focused field is of the order of 2.5 megavolt per centimeter field strength. We can measure, of course, by electro-optic sampling the actual waveform. And what we are building right now is what we hope that will be a very unique system. A compact terahertz pump XUV probe setup, which will be an end station to study terahertz and XUV pulses in combination for coupled electron and structural dynamics. So these are the main research technological systems that users can apply for. We have some auxiliary facilities, radiobiology, chemistry, nanofabrication. We have a focused ion beam and an electron beam lithography to produce nanosamples. And we have an LIDT test station to study and characterize coatings, look at damage and surface morphology as well. Our radiobiology lab is set up for different models to study the effects of pulsed radiation. We use both cell cultures and zebrafish embryos to study the effect of the different radiations and particles that we are producing here. And in the nanoscience and plasmonics research facility, we have, as I said, the nanofabrication installations, but we also have ultrafast ellipsometry for time-resolved studies, as well as a scanning near-field optical microscope for studying the plasmonic nanostructures. And towards the end of my talk, I would like to advertise a little bit the way how you can apply for beam time at the ELI facilities. It is very timely in my talk to mention that the 4th ELI-ARIC user call will open on the 25th of March, so that's next Monday. The opening of the call is usually 1 month. This is the time for while we are accepting the user proposals, and we have calls twice every year. So every March and every September we are opening a call, and then in the next 6 months we are implementing the user proposals that have been granted access based on the peer review panel decision. There are 2 ELI facilities that are now integrated into ELI-ARIC. This is our facility and the facility in the Czech Republic. You can apply for scientific opportunities at these 2 facilities. The point of access is our user portal that we are also advertising. And it is very important to note that access is free if this peer-reviewed open science access is requested. I would also like to bring it to your attention that we have user meetings every year. This year, the ELI-ARIC user meeting will be held in Dolní Břežany. This is very close to Prague. So I could say in Prague, Czech Republic. And it's going to take place at the end of June. We have a conference where users report on research they have achieved at these facilities. And we also have workshops where we discuss with the community future development possibilities of the instrumentation. And with this one, I would like to thank you for your attention. I also mentioned that we have a summer school every year. This year's summer school is going to happen at the first week of September. The advertisement is not yet out, but if you would like to come and visit ELI facilities, the summer school is also a very good opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your talk. It's really impressive to see what can be done today in terms of technologies and emerging fields of research within our field. Are there questions, comments? I mean, I have a question, so let me start as a chair. You mentioned that you are now able to perform spin measurements and that this is fairly unique. So my question would be, what makes the schemes that you use to measure spin unique, and what can one in principle do with them in the attosecond and ultrafast domain?
So what you can do is, this is from surface science. You eject the electrons via XUV ionization. And then the spin filter actually lets either spin up or spin down through. So this is, you distinguish between the two spin cases. I am not that much involved in this field of research, but my understanding is that this distinguishes between the spin states. It tells us about the magnetization, the magnetic properties of the material.
Thank you. Anybody else? Come on. Sometimes people are quiet, sometimes they ask questions, you know. But
That's normal.
yeah, I agree. Uh, it depends on the week. Is week dependent. But Dayan. Okay, Dayan, let me. Okay, you can speak. If you want, just unmute
Okay,
yourself.
so you can hear me. Okay, I'm Dejan Milošević. So I have a question about the project which I have at ELI, which is terahex-assisted above threshold ionization. So
Yes,
have you
I
idea
am
what is
aware.
going on? Yeah, so you know about this.
Yes.
I talked with Dimitris Haralambidis at the Tenerife conference, and he told me that he will talk with Philip,
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Philip,
So
about this. So I suppose this is on some kind of hold of project, or I don't know.
the project is scheduled. I'm really sorry if the team was not in contact with you. So we have to do development of the systems to enable your experiment, because the terahertz source that we have can illuminate the samples at the sample holders. But for your experiments, the sample itself is the gas jet in the electron spectrometer. So they actually have to rebuild the terahertz source to bring it closer to the electron spectrometer gas jet. And this is scheduled, not from the top of my head, but I think it's sometime in the summer that they are planning to continue these experiments. We luckily have many proposals to use our instrumentation, and it's not always trivial to schedule all the experiments within the framework of the call. But I am aware of this experiment, and I know that the guys are working on it, and this is scheduled. I'll ask Josef Philip to get in touch with you and confirm the timing.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so your experiment is on the way. Thank you also for asking. Would anybody else like to ask something? What is, in your view, because you have been aware of all these new developments in ultrafast and attosecond science, what is the future of our field?
What I find is the most crucial development is to make attosecond pulses more stable, because as this is a highly nonlinear process, the stability, any small perturbation that you have with the laser makes the attosecond source very unstable. So this is something that with the increase, you are blowing up the dimension of attosecond science, because while you were just doing experiments with few millijoules, you were focusing very tightly, the whole volume, everything was much smaller, the whole scale was much smaller. Now with these big beam lines that people started to build with making use of this ample amount of pulse energies, I think stabilization, active stabilization is a key technological aspect. And in terms of the pulse characteristics, the main challenge is increasing the conversion efficiency. So having higher XUV flux, because this is now really fancy to do XUV experiments. This is something that will have to be pushed a little bit further to get higher photon flux. And the third one to mention is the circular polarization of the light, which also seems to be producing very interesting results.
Okay, thank you so much also for your really nice talk. We're now going to stop our streaming because some people, they like to ask questions, but they don't like to be on YouTube. So I would like to wish everyone on YouTube a great Easter break. Take good care of yourselves. We're going to be back in 2 weeks. And thank you for joining. Stay safe and see you soon.